Just a warning, everyone. I know this isn't school and it's usually ultra casual, but this one deals with some kinda serious subjects, so I'm gonna be more serious. If you don't want to hear about themes of obsession or outright murder, I get it, and you can go right ahead and skip this one. I won't force you into anything you don't want or aren't comfortable with. Cool? Cool. Anyway, if you're still around, on with the show. Alright guys, I have to share this awesome thing with you. Gender, sexual, and romantic identity and expression is a huge hot button topic at the moment, but I'm not just jumping on the bandwagon with this. It's kinda important to me too. But I'm gonna explain to you the concept of the Boston marriage, and how history was, most likely, more gay than you were ever taught. Ultra-close relationships between two persons of the same gender are hardly uncommon, but dating back hundreds and hundreds of years, no one batted an eye if two friends kissed, hugged, held hands, or even cohabitated, if that's a word. The Boston marriage is one of these, but between two women. Getting close to and having such an intimate relationship with another woman was actually encouraged, even if it was more of a, oh, it's practice for being married to a guy, which is basically garbage to me, but whatever. Some couples would call each other husband and wife, and some would even dress in traditionally masculine clothing. See? Gender expression. They were financially independent, having their own careers or possibly living off of inheritance, and this freedom led to this whole new group of, admittedly mostly white, wealthy feminists from the late 19th to early 20th centuries. How cool is that? The term was coined by Henry James in his novel The Bostonians, which is based off a real-life Boston marriage between two women he knew, his sister, Alice, and her lover, Catherine Loring. Why do I tell you who they were? So I can show you just how many famous Boston marriages there were. Eleanor Butler and Sarah Ponsonby, the ladies of Llangollen, in late 18th century Ireland. Sarah Orne Jewett and Annie Adams Fields, novelist and editor, in the late 19th century United States. Or, the one I'm going to talk about today, Alice Jessie Mitchell and Freda Ward, two teenagers from Tennessee, in the late 1800s. They met at a finishing school, and from the moment they started the relationship, they were incredibly open about it. Kissing, hand-holding, all in public. This chumming, as it was called at the time in Memphis, was nothing out of the ordinary. Except, it all went a little deeper than just chumming. They lived far apart, but when they visited it was for weeks at a time, and they shared the same bed whenever they were together. Alice proposed marriage to Freda, and even gave her a ring. This is fine, and it'd be sweet if the story only ended there, but it doesn't. Alice was obsessed with Freda, but Freda didn't take the relationship nearly as seriously as Alice, even being interested in other people. When they were separated and forbidden to see one another by their guardians, with the letters and ring returned to her, Alice fell into such a deep depression she hardly ate or slept, and spent all her time remembering their relationship. Finally, in January of 1892, this obsession reached its peak. As Freda and company headed off on a trip, Alice ambushed them and slit Freda's throat with a razor blade. When asked about her motive, she replied, "I killed her because I loved her, and she refused to marry me." In her mind, if the two of them could not be married, there was no point in either of them living. If Alice couldn't marry Freda, no one could. Horrible story, huh? Even worse, Alice was 19, and Freda was 17. This received such media coverage it severely impacted society's view of lesbianism, depicting lesbians as murderous and masculine. It's part of the reason the butch, mannish lesbian stereotype is so prevalent today. Sadness doesn't suit this channel. Let's move on. The Boston marriage was a huge step forward for gender equality, and even same-gender relationships, even if they still had a long way to go from the 1800s to 2016, and even from now until the future. Were they sexual? We aren't entirely sure, because even with the acceptance of the romantic aspects, airing your sexual encounters wasn't exactly acceptable, especially homosexual encounters. And even if they were, it's their business. Stay out of people's 100-year-old pants.